Hello everyone, welcome back. This is a live recording of a 50-minute full body flexibility practice. I do use my strap. I've got a towel for a little cushion for my knees and then my bolster. Some space to move is always good too. And let's get started. So as you make your way onto your back, getting a little bit comfortable, you can decide what you want to do with your legs. If you want to make a diamond shape with them, or just keep your legs out long. Same thing with the arms. You might rest them at your sides, maybe with your palms facing up. You might even place your hands behind your head. Kind of making not so much a diamond shape, but kind of a diamond shape with the arms too. And if you're lifted up on a pillow of some kind, your arms might have some space to get a little bit heavier. You might like how this feels on your back, your shoulders. But you can decide where you want to be for these first few moments. Letting your eyes close if they're still open. Taking a slow, deep breath in and out. Doing that again, just a slow breath in and out. That one more time. A deep breath in, a deep breath out. And then just allow your arms to get a little heavier. Allow your legs to do the same. And just taking this time to slow down your day. Let go of your week. Relaxing through your body. As you breathe softly. And stay here just a little bit longer. You want to move your arms or your legs at all. Or maybe you can just let your body be still. Notice how you are feeling so far today. And then taking just another breath or two, where you start to move. You have your legs out long or in a diamond shape. You can start to bring your knees back together or planting your feet on your mat. You have your arms or your hands behind your head. You can start to bring them back to your sides as well. And then if you are laying on a pillow or anything else, you can sit up a little just so that you can take it out, move it off to the side. Come back down so that you're laying flat for a moment. You might bring your knees with you towards your chest. Maybe add a gentle rock side to side. And then we're going to be rolling all the way over to our left side. And you might come up onto your forearm. Bringing your elbow kind of under your shoulder. Let's think about our legs here for a second too. You can keep your legs bent. We're going to start to turn our chest and maybe look down towards our feet. So if your right hand wants to come to the ground behind you, it can. You can keep your legs nice and bent. Or maybe you'll straighten one of your legs, maybe the bottom one. Letting the top knee stay bent, get a little heavier. Maybe letting your right hip just tip forwards a little bit more. Maybe your knee can come all the way down onto your pillow or onto the ground. Maybe your right hand will come back behind you, looking towards the bottom of your mat. Maybe you will stay on your forearm. Maybe you will lift up onto your hands. Try to bring the wrist under your shoulder to deepen the side stretch. But same thing with the right hand. It could come to the floor behind you. Same thing with that right hip. Give it a chance to kind of rock forwards. Maybe you can't bring your right hand to the ground behind you then. But maybe you feel a bit more of a twist. And if you did climb up onto your hand, your left hand, we're going to come back down onto the forearm. And then we're going to move our legs again too. So you might just start to bend both of your knees first. If you've got a strap to use today, you could have it close by. If you want to stay on your forearm, you can, or you could lay down, get a little comfier, resting your head in your hand. But we're going to be lifting our top leg up and into the air. So if you do have a strap that you might want to put on your foot, you can, or you can start to lift your top leg up. And maybe Mr. Bow will move out of the way so you can see. But if you are using a strap, your arm will be nice and long. So maybe you can send your foot up a little higher. Maybe you move your foot around a little bit. If your leg is going straight up above you, maybe you can send your heel up towards the ceiling. Maybe you're balancing kind of on your left hip a little bit. You can rest your head in your hand, or you could stay on your forearm. And then if you do have your right leg lifted up here, we're just going to start to bring it back down. Bring it back down. Move your strap if you are using one off to the side. And then we're going to just, you can either roll onto your back for switching sides, or maybe you're going to end up in a seated position so that you can flip around, having your strap close by if you are moving a little further. But we're going to turn on to our right side. And maybe you will start on your forearm. Maybe you will start with your knees bent. Play around with turning the chest a little, bringing your left hand behind you. Maybe you'll send your bottom leg out long and then allow the top knee to get heavy. Feel free to rest on your pillow or if you've got some other items close by. but give your left hip a chance to kind of tip forwards a little bit more. And then same thing, if you want to bring the left hand to the ground behind you. A little bit of a twist. And then if you wanted to climb up onto your right hand as well to deepen the side stretch, take your time. See if you can bring your hand under your shoulder. And then maybe the left hand can come back behind you, but maybe not quite that far. Just another moment here. If you are on your hands, we can start to come back down onto the forearm. We can start to bend our legs again. If you're going to be using your strap for your top foot, your left foot, you can add it in. Or you can just see what happens as you start to kind of lift your leg. Remember, you can also rest your head in your hands. You can kind of see what that leg wants to do. Maybe the knee stays bent. Maybe you lift your leg up a little higher. Maybe you're able to point the heel up. This might turn into a balancing posture if you're on your right hip. Maybe sending the right leg out a little longer too. Just try that out, and then we can start to let that go again as well. Using your strap, place it to the sides. Bring your legs back down. You might end up on your back again. You might be seated, or you might come all the way over into tabletop. But we are going to meet in tabletop. So take your time as you come over onto your hands and onto your knees, maybe giving your hips a little bit of a sway side to side. And then we are going to be moving into a lunge from here. So if you do want a cushion for your knee, I'm going to use my towel. We'll be bringing our right foot forwards first, and our left knee can stay down. If you have a pillow to use as well, you might want it close to the top of your mat. But we'll start with setting up the lunge, right foot forwards, left knee on the ground, and then sinking into our hips. You don't have a cushion for your knee, you might even just roll your mat over. Maybe you can rest on the top of your back foot. Find that left hip flexor. And keep your hands down. Maybe they're resting on top of something. Just sending your hips a little bit forwards, a little bit down to feel that nice left hip flexor. Maybe the entire left leg. So we're going to stay here a little bit longer. If you want to stay exactly as you are, you can. If you want to lift your upper body up, you might come out of the lunge a little bit. Maybe the hips are stacking more over top of that left knee. Maybe you are staying deep in that lunge, but lifting the chest, resting your hands maybe on your knee. And then let's take our left arm, if it is free and available to move. And maybe you will reach it up. Sweep it forward, sweep it up. Maybe look up too. Maybe that deepens the hip flexor stretch. Maybe you feel love all the way from your left toes to your left fingertip. And if you are reaching up, we're going to start to come back down. So let your left arm come down. Let your chest come down, your hands come down. Send your hips back a little bit just to come out of the hip stretch. You can lengthen through the front leg a little bit, not here long in this half split, but find some length through that front leg if you'd like, but just a release for that left hip for sure. And then we are going to be coming into the lunge on the other side. So if you want to slide your right foot back, bring your right knee back as gracefully as you're able into your tabletop again. Maybe take a gentle sway of the hips. Shake it out a little. And then we'll set up our lunge with our left foot forwards, right knee resting maybe on top of a cushion of some kind. And we can start with our chest low, hands on something, maybe the ground, sinking into the hips just as much as you need to feel that right hip this time. Maybe you're going to stay as you are. Maybe you're going to start to lift your upper body. Maybe you're adjusting your legs a little bit so you're in a nice lunge. You're balanced. You feel good. And then if your right arm is free to move this time, you could reach it forwards. You could reach it up. Maybe you're even looking up a little bit too. And just softening through the hips a little bit more. Enjoy the next breath that you take wherever you happen to be. And then if you are reaching up, start to bring your right arm down. Start to bring your chest down too. And then send the hips back a little so that you can let go of that hip stretch. Maybe finding some length through the left leg while we're here. Just a moment. Meeting once again back in our tabletop on our hands and knees. If you do have some cushions under your knees, you might move them off to the side. But once you're in tabletop, you might take a gentle sway of the hips. Shake it out a little. So we're going to stay on our hands and knees. We're going to turn our fingers out to the sides, out to the edges. You can point your fingers out. Maybe the thumbs are pointing forwards. You can keep going if you want to, bringing the fingers to point towards the knees, sending the thumbs out to the side, feeling your wrists, your forearms, and gently encouraging your palms down. Let your head get a little heavier. You can do one hand at a time. You could do both. You can soften through your upper back a little. Maybe close your eyes here. You are doing one hand at a time. You can start to switch sides. If you're doing both, let's stay just a little bit longer. And when you're ready to come off of your hands, Maybe you'll sit on your heels or stand on your knees, but you can add in some wrist circles or a little forearm massage if you'd like. And then we will be coming to seated position. Have your strap close by if you've got one. So we're going to be sending our left leg out into a half straddle. If you would rather have your legs straight out in front of you, you can do that too. But if you can send it out to the side so that you can get an inner leg stretch, you can do that as well. And then your strap might go on your foot, right underneath your toes. And depending on how long your strap is, you might be sitting tall, facing forwards. Adjust your other leg in front of you so you feel centered. But if your strap is nice and long, we can hold it behind our back maybe, if you want to, with your opposite hand. So left leg, if it's out to the side, you can hold it with your right hand, maybe adding a little shoulder action in here. You can stay seated nice and tall, or you can start to tip a little, maybe, if your inner leg needs that. Maybe you add just a gentle sway of the upper body, a little bit side to side. Maybe just be still. See how your leg is feeling. See how your shoulder is feeling too, especially if you brought your arm behind you. And then if you are tipping forwards, we're going to come back up so we're sitting tall. If you have your arm behind you, we're going to bring it in front again. But same hand will hold it. And we're just going to turn our chest. So keep your legs where they are. If you are facing forwards and your leg is forwards, just continue to face forwards. But if you have your leg off to the side, you might turn your chest to start to face your foot a little bit of a twist. Maybe you can hold your strap with still that right hand, lengthening through the spine. And maybe you'll take just a little tip forwards towards your leg. Maybe you will stay sitting nice and tall, or maybe you will hit an object, a living thing. If you're kind of tipping towards your leg, start to come back up. You can take your strap off of your foot as well. We can bring our legs back all the way together, maybe bending the knees, give them a little shake, a little hug. We are just going to be switching sides. So if you're going to send your right leg out, maybe it's in front, maybe it is going off to the side, maybe out wide into that half straddle. Maybe you are going to add your strap to your foot. Adjust the leg that's in front of you so you're feeling centered. Good. And then if your left arm wants to come behind you, opposite arm to leg, maybe holding the nice long strap if you've got a long strap. Pointing those toes up if you'd like. And maybe you will start to kind of tip forwards a little or rock a little bit side to side. Maybe you will stay sitting nice and tall. And if you are tipping forwards, we can start to come back up. You have an arm behind you. You can bring it in front. Still hold on to your strap though. Think about maybe turning your chest to face towards your foot or towards your leg a little harder to do, a lot harder to do when your leg is off to the side in that half straddle. But we've got our straps, we've got our nice long arm. So hold on to it. Gently turn the chest a little, lengthen through the spine. You can stay sitting nice and tall. You might take a little tip forwards. You might walk your hand down your strap a little too. Let's start to come back. Come back out of this. Turn your chest to face forwards again. You can take your strap off your foot. You can bring your legs back together. Maybe a hug of the knees, a rock side to side. So we're going to come back into our tabletop. So onto our hands and knees again. Once you get there, if you need to move a little bit more, feel free to wiggle the hips or the shoulders a little bit. We're just going to reach our left arm out in front though, and then tuck our right arm underneath our chest. So you can keep your hips high. Slide your right arm underneath your chest, and then let your upper body get heavy. Maybe your chest can come all the way down until it's resting on your arm. Maybe your head can touch down too, or maybe you can grab a pillow of some kind. Going to take all the weights out of the upper body. And stay for just another breath. And then you can start to lift up again off of your arm. Bring your hands under your shoulders for a moment. Maybe take a little wiggle around or be still. And then our right arm will reach out. Our left arm will come under the chest, keeping the hips high and letting the upper body get as heavy as it can get. Maybe resting all the way down on something with your head, your chest. Taking just one more breath. And then we can lift again. You can start to come back up onto your hands, back into your tabletop, maybe a wiggle, a rock side to side, the shoulders, the hips. And then we're going to come onto our tummies. Have your straps close by just in case. We're going to move into our quads a little bit. So If you do need to make your arm longer to catch your foot, you can do that. We'll start with our left leg bending. So on our tummies, bending the left leg, bringing the heel towards the glute. You might even just see how close you can get your foot without reaching back for it. And then if you do want to hook your strap up, or maybe you're able to hold your foot with your left hand, left foot, left hand, and just give it a little bit of encouragement towards your glute. You might be holding on to the outside edge of your foot, and you might stay there. You might start to turn your hand and maybe hold the inside edge of your foot. So maybe your thumb is kind of resting on the ball of your foot and your fingers are on the top. Maybe you might feel your shoulder, your arm more if you flip your hand to hold the inside of the foot. Just an option. And then we can stay here on our tummies, or you could take a little tip, a little roll onto your left side. Maybe continuing to hold your foot. Maybe take a little tip over to the side. Maybe you get all the way over. Maybe push into your right hand just slightly. And if you did tip over to the side, we're just going to start to come back. Roll your way onto your belly again. And then release. Let go of your foot or your strap. And slowly let your leg come down. Take your arms, maybe bringing your hands under your forehead or just to a neutral place where you can relax for a moment. Notice if you were feeling a stretch through your arm there, depending on how you were holding your leg, you may or may not have felt something. Maybe you're getting more of an arm stretch than a quad stretch too while we're here. But we're just going to switch sides. The right foot could start to lift. Maybe see how close you can get your foot to your glutes without touching it. Maybe you will start to reach your right hand back for your foot or use your strap. You might start by holding the outside of your foot so that maybe you can notice the difference. Encouraging the heel towards the glutes. And then maybe you'll start to turn your hand to maybe hold the inside edge of your foot. Maybe your thumb is resting on the bottom of your foot and your fingers on the top. Maybe feeling a stretch through the arm, through the shoulder. And then you can stay here, or you can start to tip over to the side again, to the right side. Maybe you get over, maybe you don't. Just an option to try. And then if you did roll over, we're going to start to come back onto our tummies. And then you can slowly let your foot go. Bring your leg down and move your hands maybe under the forehead again. Just bring your arms to a nice relaxing place. You might even take a gentle sway of your hips side to side. But take a moment just to relax through your body. We are going to be turning all the way over and onto our backs. If you need to flip around, or if you can just simply roll over so that you're laying on your back. Flat on your back. You can keep your knees bent and your feet planted, or you can send your legs out long too. We're going to be turning our chin over towards the left shoulder. And you might lift your head up a little bit, turn your head a little bit more. Let your chin tip over towards the left side as much as it's able. So we can start to feel a stretch through our neck. And relaxing through the rest of the body. And then you might stay here with your chin tipping towards your shoulder. Or you might start to lift your chin off of your shoulder, keeping the chin tipping to the side. I do like to use my right hand on the forehead just to kind of help the head move a little. So your chin is still tipping to the left, but it might be moving away from your shoulders, that maybe you can start to see whatever is above your head. Maybe the back of your head is getting a little closer towards your right shoulder, but still allowing the chin to tip over towards the left side. You don't have to hold your head the whole time. You can let it go. You can bring your arms back to your side. Feeling a stretch through the neck, but trying to relax throughout the body as well. If you feel like your head is stuck, that's good. But I want you to take your hands and pick your head up and help turn it so that you're resting on the back of your head again. And taking a moment here to just be still. Notice the sensations flowing throughout your head and your neck. Feel the back of your head nice and heavy on the ground beneath you. And then our chin is just going to start to fall over towards our right shoulder this time. Maybe you're lifting your head up a little just to turn your head a little bit more. Starting to feel the stretch through the neck. Maybe this is enough for you. Maybe you're going to try to shift the head a little. The chin continues to tip to the right, but it might leave the shoulder, and the back of your head might start to get closer to the left shoulder. Your left hand might find your forehead just for assistance. Still tipping the chin. Maybe you're able to see whatever it is that's above you. Maybe not. And let your arms come back to your side. Relaxing your body as much as possible. And if you feel like your head is stuck, use your hands, pick up your head, turn it so that you can rest on the back of your head again. And bring your arms back to your sides. Be still. Notice how you feel. You have your legs out long. They might stay there, or you might start to bend your knees, planting your feet, and maybe taking a gentle sway of the knees side to side. Giving your low back a massage. You might end up lifting your knees up towards your chest. Maybe continuing to rock side to side. And maybe you will lift your feet up higher, finding happy baby. And perhaps continuing to rock side to side. And if you do have your feet, if you're in happy baby, start to bring them back down. Maybe grabbing the knees. Maybe you're still swaying side to side a little bit. Eventually your feet can come all the way down to the ground if they're still lifted. You might let your knees just tip out to the sides one more time. Make a diamond shape with your legs. Maybe your hands will come back behind your heads, or maybe it's the first time today. Letting your elbows fall out to the side. And then as you take your hands out from behind your head, you might just lift your head slightly. Bring some extra length into the back of your neck. Taking the hands out from behind your head and moving your arms back to your side. You can slide your legs out long towards the bottom of your mat, your feet out wide. Any last adjustments so that you can settle in to your Shavasana for a few moments. And slowly start to move a little bit. Maybe rock the hips or wiggle of the fingers and the toes. Maybe you're reaching your arms above your head to take a nice big stretch. Eventually bending your knees so that you can roll over to one side, maybe using your arm as a pillow. Finding your way up and into a comfortable seat. When you're ready, letting your eyes close one last time. Maybe bringing your hands together in front of your heart. Awesome practice, you guys. Thank you so much for joining us today. Have a really great rest of the day, great weekend, and we'll see you guys next week. Namaste.